So before you type your comment and tell me chosen, I thought you already made this video. Well, yes, I've made another video about ESEA, but ESEA has updated a lot and my opinion has changed a little bit, so I thought it would be important to talk about this again. So let's find out, is ESEA for everyone? I don't know. Let's get into it. So before this video starts, I would really like to have a special thanks over to Snacphat. They sponsored this video and they have really helped me out. If you want to check out Snacphat, the link to it is down in the description down below, but pretty much what the site is, you can instantly sell your CSGO skins. You're going to be taking a little bit of a loss, but compared to things like OP skins where you have to wait for someone else to buy it, you can actually just sell it instantly to them, and it works through PayPal and a lot of other various methods. Link to the site is down in the description down below. Go show those guys some love because they're showing some love for the channel, and I appreciate it. So let's get into the video.
Bitch, until that track when I'm spilling that crack, my militia rate a villa, I'm a villain that's black back.
So when I'm talking about old ESEA, I don't mean old ESEA back in 1.6 and the older Counter-Strikes. I'm talking about CSGO old ESEA. And if you guys haven't really played ESEA in the past, I played it maybe 2 or 3 years ago, probably way before I should have, because I was about Gold Nova level. And if you don't know, that's not very good. Nowadays, everyone on ESEA isn't always the best player, and it's because of a lot of things we're going to talk about later on in this video. But back then, I feel like a lot of the players on ESEA were very strong players. A lot of them played in leagues, a lot of them pugged like 24/7, so a lot of the players were really good, and what would happen is, if you were new to the game and you tried to join ESEA for whatever reason, they would get really upset at you, they would get really mad, and really, I didn't really have a place being there, and I could see why. I was costing the team games, and it was making people very, very angry. I agree with the sentiment that old ESEA wasn't really for everyone. Back in the day, if you joined ESEA, you should have been an elite player. Not even elite, just maybe a little bit above average. Because if you couldn't compete there, you were costing your team's games, and a lot of people there took it very seriously. So it was kind of just wrong of you if you weren't that good to join ESEA, and that was the problem with old ESEA. It kind of had a smaller player base just for that very reason, that they weren't really welcoming to new players, and that's kind of changed in the present day. But like I said, we'll get to that later on in this video. Overall though, I feel like this experience was a good one, the one where I was Gold Nova and I was playing with better players, not because it made me better, all it did was get me fucking shit on in CSGO. But what it did do though is it made it so I realized that there are really good players out there, and that is something that I should strive for. So what I did was I went and practiced more. I stopped playing ESEA because I didn't want to ruin the game for other people, which is kind of considerate. And from there I just started practicing. I started playing matchmaking more, and when I got around LEM level I started playing ESEA again. And ESEA changed a little bit, but it was still in that transitioning phase where most of the players were still good, and I could actually compete at this time. I wasn't just costing my team rounds, and I wasn't making people super pissed off.
Her pussy ball like Caillou. This is Little Brick, nigga, how are you? Your bitch give me head like.
So over the past few years, I think ESEA has gotten more and more popular, and I feel like the reason for this is streamers like Summit1G or MoTV or Josh OG. A lot of them play on ESEA, and this is actually how I found out about the site and how I actually ended up started playing. A lot of people joined up because they've seen Summit and Mo, and all of them, they got really fucking popular on Twitch. So a lot of their viewers, normally newer players to the game, saw this and they asked what it was, and they would get explained that, oh, there's better servers, a better anti-cheat, this and that, and ESEA overall is the better experience. So it made sense that these people wanted to check it out. So what you had was a lot of newer players migrating over as they saw a lot of their favorite streamers playing it. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm not blaming Summit and I'm not blaming Josh OG or MoTV. They were just doing their jobs and they gave people the information that they wanted. But without these people, maybe these newer players wouldn't have found ESEA as soon as they did. I think another thing that made it so a lot of newer players who weren't necessarily great at the game joined ESEA was when it was recently added to Steam. This made a lot more people trustworthy of ESEA, and also they could play for it with Steam money. So instead of the $7 a month coming right out of your wallet, you could actually maybe sell a skin on the market and use that to pay for ESEA. Also, this made it more mainstream, and it made it so a lot more people were aware of it, because at the time a lot of people weren't aware of ESEA. So you have a lot more people, you have a lot of newer players coming on over to ESEA, and that can lead to some problems because they're playing with people who are really good, and now you have this mix of really good people and really mediocre people, and they just don't really mesh well. ESEA saw this problem, and they saw the community was kind of complaining about this and playing with people who weren't nearly as good as them, so what they ended up doing is creating a ranked system. And a lot of people were really excited for this, myself included. I thought this was going to be a really great addition to ESEA, but what ends up happening is it's really only based on wins and losses, so you can get carried all the way up to A rank as long as you're playing with other people who are fairly good. And that's the bad thing about it, and it seems like it should be based on more things than just wins and losses, because people can get carried up. Also, it seems like you're not really being matched with people based on this rank, because my friend who plays in ESEA main, he's an A+ player, he's still getting matched with Gold Novas who are C-, and that's not really fair to him. It's not really fair to the Gold Nova, because there's just a huge skill gap there, and I don't think either of them really want to play with each other, and that's kind of unfortunate and something that I think ESEA needs to fix if they want to make both of these parties happy. This has become more and more of an issue on ESEA as you're seeing a lot more one-sided pugs, and you're seeing a lot of people leaving pugs, and you're just seeing a lot of the community shift. Like, the whole attitude of leaving pugs back then was very bad. You shouldn't do it. Also, if you played old ESEA and you weren't good, you were going to get downvoted with karma. But it seems like the community as a whole has kind of switched around on that. It seems like more people are more accepting of newer players joining ESEA, and I have no problem with that. People joining ESEA is fine, because for one, it helps ESEA, it helps it to continue running because they're making more money, obviously. Also, it makes it so that there's a bigger player base there and that it will continue to be supported, which is always a good thing. But I think what they need to do is they need to create a better matchmaking system, because it's very annoying to play these one-sided pugs. It doesn't seem like you're getting any better because you're actually playing with people who are worse than you, rather than if you were to play something like matchmaking, where you're normally generally around the same skill level, and that's actually a really bad thing for ESEA. A lot of people are saying ESEA isn't the same anymore, and they're going the Donald Trump route of make ESEA great again, but honestly, I don't think kicking all these new players out is the solution. I think ESEA just needs to step their matchmaking system up and just match you up with players that you should be matched up against. I was C- at one point, and I actually got matched up with a pro player. And guess what he did? He just kind of went around and shit on everyone. And if you're wondering who the pro player was, it was FNX. He ran around, just shit on everyone in the map, and it just wasn't fair. And it was kind of boring to play, other than the fact that I was playing with a pro player. But it was just boring because he was killing everyone on the other team, and it was just really one-sided. And I don't think that really should be happening.
To the money, my eggs is hurting, I'm stunting, I chase after money, I'm feeling like Krillin, bitch, I don't do nothing, I meet me a million.
So I think ESEA is the future of Counter-Strike. I feel more and more newer players are going to get into it. I feel like veteran players are going to get into it if they're not already into it, because Valve just isn't providing what we want. They're not providing a better anti-cheat, they're not providing 128-tick servers, and if they don't do that, then a lot of people are going to migrate over to ESEA. So ESEA is going to continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger, but I feel like what I said earlier is also true. They need to cater to both the hardcore player and the casual player, because ESEA isn't just for the hardcore players anymore, as we're starting to see in these past few months, if not this past year. ESEA knows what they're doing. They're trying to cater more to the newer player, and that's why they put it on Steam, because the more sales for them, the better. And that's perfectly fine, because they're a business, and that's what businesses do. But the matchmaking system is the only thing I feel right now that is holding ESEA back. And is ESEA for everyone? Yeah, I think it is, actually, because you know what? The matchmaking system was designed there just so newer players could get into the game without getting stomped. It's just, like I said, once again, it needs to be revamped. I don't mean to keep repeating myself, but that's what it keeps coming back to. It keeps coming back to this matchmaking system, and that's just kind of undeniable. So yeah, in my previous video, I said that ESEA wasn't for everyone and that you should be a higher rank. And I look back on that video and I kind of disagree with my past self. I think ESEA is for everyone. I think, like I said in this whole video, ESEA just needs to do a better job of implementing these new players in with the veteran ones, because this was never really a problem ESEA has to face before, because there was always hardcore players, and normally the newer ones would get weeded out and they would end up, you know, getting kicked out and they would stop playing it, just like I was back in the day. But yes, ESEA, you need to get your matchmaking system together. You're going to continue to grow because you actually are a pretty good service, other than the Bitcoin mining thing, which people like to bring up a lot, which was like a year ago or 2 years ago now, probably. Just get the fuck over it. But yeah, ESEA, I think it's cool. I definitely recommend you guys checking it out. Feel free to send anyone on ESEA this video, I guess. I don't know. They're probably not gonna fucking see it because they probably don't care what a fat black dude in his basement thinks about ESEA. So, you know, probably don't give a fuck. But hey, thank you guys for watching this video. I would appreciate it if you did enjoy it, that you hit that like button. And if you dislike this video for some odd reason, how would you hit that dislike button? And can we shoot for 400 likes? I haven't had a like goal in a while, so if you guys could hit that, that would be awesome. But thank you guys for watching this video. This has been the Chosen One Inc., and as always,
fuck all that talking, let's do it. Now fuck all that talking, let's do it. I pull up on your hoe, knock it down, and I dip. I pull out.
So before this video starts, I would like to say